preparing for his demo speech. This will be an interview narration. It will be 4 to 6 minutes long, and that's how short his introduction was on himself. But I want to tell you that I've worked with Sam a little bit lately, and he's fantastic at what he does. And so I would encourage all of you, if you know anybody that would, I know that this isn't a place where we're supposed to push ourselves, but he's great. So that's my introduction, Sam.
Thank you. When I was younger, about 5 or 6, I was on a drive with my grandpa. They had taken a load to the dump, and we were returning. Listening to the radio, the windows were down, the warm summer breeze was blowing through the car, or the truck. And he reached over, turned down the radio, put his hand on my knee, and said, "Samuel, I think you have a very pleasant voice. A voice that could lead somebody to greatness one day, maybe even be on the radio." That was the first time that I remember somebody truly believing in me. You see, I'm the 7th of 11 kids. Money was always really, really tight in our family. My parents, they worked odd jobs here and there, pizza Hut drivers, construction, different things, just trying to make ends meet. And then we would be part of every little thing, trying to find a shortcut to financial freedom. It didn't work too bad and too good. We actually, when I was born, were living with my grandparents, and we purchased a house out in Grantsville, Utah. If anybody knows where that is, there's nothing there. Purchased a house that had actually been condemned, which is why we were able to buy it, right? Our goal was to be debt-free and dead broke. No, to be debt-free. But we purchased this house that had been condemned due to a faulty foundation. They tried to build 2 levels onto a house foundation that was meant for 1. Ironically, this would turn to be a very good metaphor for my life in the future and my financial habits, unfortunately. At age 18, I decided I'm done with this poverty lifestyle. I'm going to go do summer sales. I went out and I made half of my dad's annual income in 3 months at age 18. And then I was broke before Christmas. I'd spent it all before I even got paid. The next year I went out and I was like, I'm just going to earn more and then I will not have these financial problems. Still, same result. What I realized was that the habits that I had been given or passed down, the foundation was weak, crumbling. And if I didn't fix it, that I would be destined to repeat my parents' past. I started college, I started studying neuropsychology, and found that across the board, the one thing that is in pretty much all of the research consistent is socioeconomic status, and what leads to this socioeconomic status is just a lack of understanding of financial literacy. This leads to depression, anxiety, divorce, domestic violence. As I sat there reading this research, it struck way too close to home. I had lived a life of poverty. I'd experienced the depression, the anxiety that comes from financial stress. I knew that something had to change. I was then reminded of the experience with my grandpa, driving in that truck with his hand on my knee. He believed in me. He knew that I could accomplish great things, that I could be successful, and not only that, that I could lead others to greatness. I knew to do so I would have to just really change my thoughts about myself and my habits, so I went to work on myself. I started tracking the thoughts that I have and have had, and taking all of the negative self-talk and turning it to the direct opposite, positively. I had found that I was saying to myself, you can't afford it. You're not worth it. What would somebody think of you if you actually were wealthy and had money? What was I really saying to myself, though? Samuel, you are not worth it. As I went through this transformation and started to live consistent with my new financial foundation that I had been creating for myself, My income went from $1,000 a month to $4,500 a month to $7,000 a month. It wasn't because I was working harder, but because I started to think differently. Started to live consistent with a solid financial foundation, strong enough to build a meaningful legacy. Now my time with my family is more meaningful, precious, and present in every moment with them. And as I've worked with different clients, I've been able to see the same peace and joy come over their life as they are able to find more time with their family, less time slaving away at their job. The joy that you see in somebody's eyes, the relief, the tears that come when they're no longer bound by financial uncertainty. As I've helped these clients, they've had the desire to share that with their friends, to be able to help their friends receive the same freedom that they've accomplished. And now that's my passion. I love helping people. I love seeing that light, that burden lift, and the joy come back into families.